gray. Yes, he had to kill a gray. He's probably one of the only people on this planet that can actually say he killed a gray, and he had proof of it. He had the blood tested, analyzed years ago, because the first gray he had to kill. So is the story real? It's going to be as real as it can get. Are we going to have evidence? I have to go out there and get all the evidence together. And the most important thing that I feel is much more important than the evidence is why the Greys and the Army want him. What does he have that's important? I can go into that, which means at some future date, but not at the present, because it entails what we call the Stargate. And when I worked up in Wanakee, New Jersey, we called it the Vortex. And now there's a lot of different things going on, groups of people trying to prove vortexes and stargates and things like that. They're real. But who can use them? Who can control them? Would the government have full power over them? It's like saying, who has full power over an angel or a deity? Nobody. So when people are given the right to use a stargate, what about an alien race that's using it? So there's multiple things happening. And it's escalating at an incredible rate right now. Never mind with all the things that are supposed to happen. Well, while this is going on, I'm in Hawaii. I got all my computers. I sit out in this truck. I put a chair on top of the roof, and I put up a crystal with a light under it, which I have under control that can blink it on and off whenever I want. And I sit up there with 2 super spotlight flashlights, and I'm blinking at the stars and stuff. And I'm working with some light ships every night. If it's clear, the clouds come in very fast. I could be up there, and the clouds will come in like a circle directly over my head. And then obviously all I see is a cloudy sky. But what's been going on for 3 months already is I play with this flashlight, and I'll see these balls of light blink back at me in the sky. In the interim, while I'm seeing that happen, I'm seeing ships going across the sky. I personally feel the ones going across the sky are definitely the ones I don't want to talk to, and the ones that are blinking at me are a higher race that I do want to talk to. I'm not going to get into that now. I don't have the time why I feel that I need to and have to. But it is part of the reason why I'm here on planet Earth right now. And I know you hear that from many of the top speakers. Well, I'm here to bring this message out. What is the message? What I'm trying to do with that has nothing to do with the message that I'm trying to teach people, give people in my lectures. It has to do with what's going to happen to the planet, a different message. Because the message I teach is about soul. No matter what goes down, that's what you will be and always will be. But this light thing, I go outside right after the sun goes down, start blinking lights in the sky, and then I'll see blink, blink lights flashing back at me. All right, I usually send Morse code up into the sky, dot, 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 dash, 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 dot, dot, dot. And here's a ship blinking, blink, blink, blink. And then I do blink, blink back. And then it does blink, blink, blink. It's not a drone. It's not somebody playing games with me, because it's way up in the sky and it's pretty far away. And they're noticing me, and I notice them. Sometimes it doesn't happen every time I just step out there. Sometimes I have to sit there for a few hours. And then I say, you're not even going to say hi. And also I see 3 blinks or 2 blinks. And then I'll see a ship shoot by. But what I'm working on too right now, the word shooting stars. I've been dealing with UFOs for over 25 years. And I used to see shooting stars. I always told shooting stars go across the sky. Meteorite leaves a trail, comet doesn't, and then a shooting star is just blah, blah, blah. But I'm watching them in detail. The one thing I just noticed recently, there was clouds, and I saw a shooting star, for the word, underneath the cloud, meaning facing me, not behind a cloud, go across a couple inches in the sky and just fade out. It just popped there, kind of went in a half of an arc, and then just fizzled out, only in a couple inches of my vision from the distance. It wouldn't be a shooting star if it was on the opposite side of the cloud. So I'm getting to the point where I'm saying a lot of what we call shooting stars are not. I mean, when you watch them and they make a short blink from here to there, a shooting star is coming through the ozone, and it burns out. So you would see that. And if you're just seeing them move in 2 inches, sometimes 3 inches, sometimes across the whole sky, if something's burning up, what are you actually seeing? Something burning up. But if it doesn't burn up, you see something move in the light, it's not a shooting star. Does it have to be? Well, it can't be anything else. Because most people don't accept the idea of what UFOs are, could be, or how fast they travel. 25 years ago, we were using a camera to film UFOs and stuff, and we noticed that on 300 frames, which it shoots per second, 300 frames, the UFOs we filmed are on 2 or 1 frame. So I don't give it to any scientist. Say, figure it out. How fast can that be? It's very close to the speed of light. Because when you watch 1 frame, it takes a very long time to go over 300 frames of that 1 second. So when you watch a 20-minute video, you're there all day. Sure, you might speed it up here and there when you get bored, and then all of a sudden you'll see something pop up, like a ship going across. So I can tell you, Einstein was completely wrong, way before they only proved it a couple years ago, that basically everything he says is going to be contradictory to the facts of the truth. Because he also said we can go back in time, but we can't go forward. The whole Philadelphia experiment proved that to be a complete lie. So, but that was after his time frame. Tesla, on the other hand, knew a lot of stuff. He actually was responsible for quantum physics in a great way. And he admitted, I saw his personal notes actually said he worked with an alien race. So did Tesla, but more so a spirit or whatever, however he worded it. But again, I'm not going to go into that whole story because it's a little complex. Tesla was a person that could have brought us 2,000 years to the future, and we didn't go there. Yes, we moved maybe 100 years into the future with remote controls and remote satellite and things like that. But his technology was about free energy. And they're still talking about it like, oh, how do we create free energy? I mean, is mankind that dumb or programmed not to understand or hear the truth or see it or even look for it? Well, it's there. It has been here. Tesla was working on the doomsday weapon. In 1900, he created an earthquake machine. So what do you think the government could have did with that in 100 years? Imagine that. Oh, 100 years later? I guess it's a lot more high-tech now, which actually became part of the HARP system and what it's all about. And then you get into that. That's a whole story. If you want to know about it, read about it. So getting back to, I'm blinking back and forth these light ships every other night now. 2 different psychics, real or not, saying, well, you're going to meet with them. They're going to communicate with you soon enough. I said, hopefully before the world gets destroyed. And I'm a hardcore rebel. If you listen to any of my other shows, which many are out there, I'm a rebel. I'm hardcore. A lot of people say I'm doom and gloom. I'm this, that, and the other thing. Sadly, people call truth doom and gloom. Well, meaning the truth is always bad. Well, what's good truth? In a world that's constantly violating spiritual laws as well as the physical laws and believe that they have the right to do it. Well, while I'm here looking at these ships and they're above me, I notice these other ships cruising around. Well, 2 things I want to get into before my time runs out. Last week, I was doing a show in a chat room. It got really crazy. I said, I'm done. And I went outside. I put a chair outside, put my little flashlights in my hand, sat down, and I see this ship coming across the sky. Big, bright ship cruising from my left to the center of my vision. And I'm going, holy smokes. And then I realized, I said, well, my cell phone, maybe I could film it. And I got the video up online. It's in my it's the link's in my webpage. But I grabbed my cell phone, film it, and it split into these 4 ships, and those ships shot straight across the sky, cruising across the sky into the horizon of the far right side of my vision. Well, I said, well, I better report this and document it no matter what happens to me, blah, blah, blah. So I put it up on YouTube, and then I went into MUFON, which I don't know why. I put the sighting up in there. So I put on the news that morning. For the first hour that I woke up, the 6 o'clock news, they show, oh, don't worry, it's not aliens, it's not UFOs. And their statement, which is really stupid, oh, we were told that it's space debris from Cosmos 30, they think. If that's not the biggest crock bull story, they don't film pieces of comets crashing back to the planet. Satellite, sorry. Satellites are small. Well, they're as big as a truck maybe, but that's considered small in my viewpoint. They're not filled with gasoline. They don't travel through space for years and years and years and come down burning up with gasoline and explode to pieces. And in an explosion, things go different directions. They don't go perfectly straight and in a row. So a lot of that is just like really ridiculous for anybody to even accept that. So they played it about 4 times on 2 different news channels. Basically, Hawaii owns all the news channels here. So it's just like the first 2 letters before the channel they put to change it, 2, 4, 7. So in the interim, that was it. It was completely stripped off of the internet, no longer on TV. They never showed it on the 6 o'clock news because they said, can that. I'm sure they were told, just can it. Don't say anything more about it. Again, I saw the whole thing from start to finish. It was real. It's as real as it gets. What they're doing is intense because, let me just take a step back. 3.5 months ago, roughly, my partner was in the kitchen in the house, and she called me. And by the time I got there, she said there was a really big object outside. I got outside, there was a triangle ship in the sky, and then the clouds covered it. But in the distance, the sky was clear, and I saw this white light ship moving across the sky. Basically, as far as you can see in the sky. And all of a sudden, the whole sky lit up pure white. And then it was back to the color it was, dark sky there, nothing except a few clouds above me. Then I see another white light above me, moving across directly above me, straight up. And I'm looking at it. And then all of a sudden, the whole sky turned pure white again. Well, to me, I had 2 things. Well, maybe it's like Star Trek, and when they put their high-speed button on, they travel through space at a super high rate, and you see this white light. Or maybe the ship was exploded. Well, the next day, I call a very good friend. I don't know if I should say his name or not, but one of the top UFO photographers, filming UFOs fighting all the time. Called them up, and I said, well, he goes, well, yeah, you just saw 2 ships get knocked off by our government. All right, I accept that. It happens again a couple weeks later. So I meet a friend who I'm going to bring on, who said he's working with people in the government, saying they're preparing, and this is hearsay, because one person I know said it. I'm not saying I'm saying it. The government is, well, the Army and Air Force are preparing for an attack by 3 motherships. We've been shooting down their ships for 2 years, and the motherships are on their way here. So one ship was actually a friend of mine who I'm talking about. A ship crashed there, and the government came in and took it away and everything else. So how real is this? As real as I can get the information put together in a time frame before we don't need the information. I'm not a fool. I'm cold crazy. I mean, I was dealing with UFOs where I worked. I worked for the phone company a long time. And they actually gave me a birthday cake when I left with all little aliens on it. So yeah, they didn't believe me that much, most of the people. One other story I'll get into real fast. I worked for the phone company 20 years. Near the end, they said I got hurt on a UFO. I did get hurt, but they said I got hurt on a UFO. I don't know where their brains were thinking I would say, yeah, I got hurt on a UFO, which was not true. I was going to court for a few years against the phone company after I quit the phone company and resigned and retired. I was out west, coming back and forth, going to court against the phone company. And somewhere in the interim, about a year and a half into it, the judge says, "Hey, can I speak to you after the case is over?" Brought me up to where he was, and he said to me, "Oh, he wanted to tell me his UFO story with him and his wife." And he said, "I'd really love to see whatever pictures you got," which I brought in the next time I went to court and showed him. My case was dropped 6 months later. My lawyer retired, said, "You have another lawyer on the case." He called me up, says, "Well, the case is dropped. If you want to reopen it, you got to give me $20,000, but he said you won't win anyway." And that's how my case went down after 2.5 years. So again, it was an incredible story. I don't want to get into that. It's another long story. So I'm a real person. People can call me crazy. I accept it. We're all crazy going sane, not we're all going insane. Because to find sane, I would say you find your true spiritual truth, and that's what's all that matters. And that would be as high as you can go in this realm. So, and that's what I teach. And it's the most important thing that anybody could attain in this lifetime, is to understand themselves and what they are as soul, not in this body, outside of the body. So these light ships, I really hope I want to make contact with them. But we will see. We'll see in a short period of time what's going to happen to the world with all these prophecies of what's supposed to happen in the next 2 weeks. But I do get into spiritualism, and I do get into conspiracy theories of what people say. I'm a rebel, as I said before. Psychics, if one of them was 100% real, the world would be in serious trouble. As we speak right now, I'm sure the Pope's on getting his suitcase packed, whoever packs it for him, getting ready to come to the United States, whether this comet, meteorite, Planet X, Nibiru, this wave, sonic wave, is going to hit the planet. Well, we shall see soon enough. I'm not going to make prophecies on that. I'll let all these psychics say and prove and say whatever they want about it. But again, if they hit, are we going to become six-dimensional beings? Never happen. We can't be compassionate enough to stay in a family, love our children, and teach them well. We're going to become six-dimensional beings? Again, what does that really mean? If you let go of the body, you'll be a dimensional being. Is that what you want to be? No. People love planet Earth. People love their body. So when they say they want to become six-dimensional being, they better realize what they're even asking for or thinking about. Never mind letting an alien race tell you something. If I go anywhere, I go to the highest. Why go to the lowest? If you want to learn the truth, where do you go? To school? You stay in kindergarten all life? No, you go to college and you go to get your bachelor's degree. You want to stay in kindergarten? That's your choice. We have the right to do that. But we do have the right to step forward, to be part of this planet and to grow spiritually as well as physically. If you think any alien race is going to help us become better, you watch Ancient Aliens, hopefully. If you got a TV and you say, well, I'm a part of the real world, I want to know what's happening. They've been going on for a couple of years now, showing artifacts and things of aliens and stuff. But where are we as a human race? Programmed about what DNA is? That we're all this race, we're all that race, we came from this race, we're all that. It's all lies. Okay, I could say planet Earth is an illusion, but it's the illusion that you're living in. So it's important to create it, to mold it, to help it become what you want it to be. You want this to be a beautiful planet? You got to make it that. You don't let people fracture the whole planet, cause earthquakes, and create radioactive time bombs like Japan did. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? What are you ready to give up to attain the next step in your spiritual growth? Anything? Jesus said, give up thy family, thy brother, mother, father, brothers, family, everybody in your family. and walk away, because there's no way you're going to get further if you listen to everybody else. I'm here to bring a simple message. The truth is inside you, not inside me, but I can help you find ways to go about finding that truth is inside yourself. That's all you need. When I break and expose this UFO story, hopefully in 2 months, if people don't die, disappear, or change, it'll open your eyes to what's really going on with the alien world. I'm going in full battle with this UFO conference coming up in 2 months. I'll say it right now. It's called the UFO Con Experiences Conference. It's not a good thing. They're going to hypnotize people to introduce them to the purple grays and squareheads. Why? What for? What reason? Again, these are people that were abducted. And, you know, I only got a few minutes, real fast. Experiences and abductees are the same. They might not believe it. Well, I got a good experience. I work with the good aliens, and the abductees work with the bad aliens? No. They're programmed. It's which program the alien race is giving them to accept right now. When you're abducted, your mind is reprogrammed. It's fit with programs. They can tell you it was all good. They can tell you it was nothing. Originally, when the program was created in the 50s, they weren't allowed to allow people to have the experience and the awareness of it. Now, I guess somewhere the aliens say, well, let's tell them a make-believe happy story. If you're abducted, means taking out of your house without permission. Did you hear me? It's not like an alien landed on your property. You saw an alien walk up to the house, ring your doorbell. Excuse me, we're doing trips to space. You want to come with us? We're even doing operations. We need some blood. And you say yes. That would probably be an experience. If you're stupid or crazy enough to do that, that would be your choice. But again, why do you think any alien race is here? Why do you think they would come from? And please, they do come from distant universes. They're not bending what Einstein said, bending it and coming from here to there. They travel faster than the speed of light. They don't need time. They can go through time as well. So please, don't say they don't come from multiple universes so far away. They do. And that's why there's 7 basic alien races that are here are the ones we don't want to deal with. Sure, the words, the Andromedans, Syrians, and every good name of the good aliens, they can't beat or destroy these bad ones, because when you become spiritual, if they quote to be that, the first spiritual law that they have to abide by is the law of non-interference, meaning they can't interfere. So if they do, they're going against the spiritual laws, meaning they're not spiritual. But people don't want to accept the truth, live in the lies, live in the fantasies. Please do. But if you listen to my show, I'll get into the facts. I'll get into the truth. And the old saying, your truth, my truth, God's truth. Don't believe in God? All I can say, sorry. Don't believe spiritual people? I don't. I wish there was one here right now. Jesus said there'll be many after him, and there hasn't been any, sadly to say. The Pope, he's considered one of the most spiritual people on the planet because he has a following, an incredible following, probably more than anybody else. So we'll see what goes down when he comes to the UN and Congress and says, oh, we need to create one world order. We need to have control over plants and animals and who's destroying them and who's hunting them. Really? You're going to shut down Alaska? Say no more killing animals? What are you going to do? Shut down chemtrails? Really? Is that what you're going to do? What's going to happen? What do you think could happen? What do you think he can offer to the UN? These are people that care about war. We're very close to World War III. The Pope met with Putin. Putin totally disagreed with the Pope and walked away. And now the United States is going to make a big thing out of being with him. I guess Putin's going to sit back and say, what a bunch of fools. So we need to be responsible for what we leave the world to see as well as what we let ourselves to see. So I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. I will get deeper into different things. So, oh, I didn't answer any questions. Oh my God. Oh. All I can say is I'm just getting new to this, the way this is set up and everything, and I will start taking questions, sorry, in a great way, because I feel no question is important except the one that you ask, that you need to ask. I know what I know, and maybe you need to know what you don't know. All right, so if I can like figure a way to get the questions out, I can probably still get into them. See what I missed, sorry. I met with a race, and I hate to admit this, I guess you heard of the ESETI Ranch, James Gillen. His first alien that he's working with, he said he gave it a name, a cute little name. But the first race that I met with did have a cat's head, which wasn't a race that's here now. I think they came and went. All right, any questions, please? I will answer them while I can. I've been here for an hour, and I put my story out there. Hope you understand who and what I am. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheater. I'm not a thief. I'm not a rapist or abuser. I'm not any of those words. I don't accept to be any of them. All right, somebody asked a question about shamans and medicine people. Well, the medicine woman I studied with 26 years. She was the first person in the United States to teach about crystals. She was Apache Mohawk. I did 2 things with her that were the most incredible things, well, 2 of some of the most incredible things in my life, which I had multiple incredible things happen. It's called Journey of the Waters. She used to do it. She's retired right now, but one of her students who's becoming the high medicine woman leads them now. But it's called Journey of the Waters. It's a journey in New Mexico, and it goes up into Colorado. And you do ceremony in hot springs, hot mineral baths, lithium pools. It's an incredible thing. You'll meet with the entities, the deity, sorry, wrong words. The gnomes, nymphs, salamanders, the air spirits, water spirits, fire spirits. You'll have incredible experiences with that when you go on this journey. It's about 6-7 days now. And I'm telling you, it's an incredible learning. If you didn't have any really outrageous experiences in your life yet, it'll open the doorway for you to see and go beyond the closed doors. I have a little shaman. I call him my shaman because he was really short and little. And we got into a heavy conversation. And I told him about how many years, which was 35 years, traveling outside of my body into the higher realms of God or spirit, or with spirit. And he said, well, if it's so good, why do you come back here? And I had to think about that. But in that moment, he touched upon my spirit, and I realized I had to be aware what spiritual truth is and what I'm searching for and what any shaman can teach you. Sure, you can learn about plants and things and ceremony, but the reality is, what did you really learn? What are you now that you weren't before? What does soul truly become? And that's the awareness, is why you're here. Whatever it takes to get there is where I say move into that space. But again, the shaman said, well, why come back? It took me a week going over that statement. And a shaman is somebody that gives you a thought that can open you up to a new level. And the thought was, where am I going? What am I doing? I'm on planet Earth. I have this body. I need to use it until I lose it. So I spent, and I do spend my time now here on planet Earth, dealing with what's happening to planet Earth. It was a great learning. But there's many shamans that came in my path. They all have different different things to teach. I studied with a Tibetan Vajra master who showed me things and wanted to teach me things. Wanted me to channel a deity and bring it into this world. And I was at the point of suicide to get out of it. Almost died in the whole thing. So I'm willing to walk through the fire to get to the other side if I know it's going to bring me closer to the truth. If you're ready, if you want the truth, you have to say that to yourself. You have to be ready to walk through the fire. You have to be ready to go through the pain. In weightlifting, the statement is no pain, no gain. And that's the way it is in life. If you're not willing to go through the pain to get further, you're not going to get very far down the road. You can stay in your little box, stay in your little home, never go out. Tell people to bring food to your house. Tell people that this, that. You're not going to learn. Oh, go into meditation. Well, lamas go into a cave for 40 years. Then what happens? They come out and they have to tell their truth, or they try to, whatever that is. And before I answer the next question, Buddha Boy supposedly lived under a tree for 6 years without eating anything. That's the story. They're saying he's the reincarnation of Buddha. Well, people are following him. People will grow. His teachings are, we got to respect the earth. We got to respect the plants. The native people say that too. But did they? I'm not going to get into that story. I'm going to move on a little bit further. Well, somebody asked me a simple question. For me, it's simple. What's the difference between the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiment? Well, the person that was working in the Philadelphia experiment, I worked with him directly. Preston Nichols, Al Bierlich were the people going out with the story and Peter Moon, but Al Bierlich was the one that went back in time. So the Philadelphia experiment was when they created it by Tesla's invention, put it on the Eldridge, and the Eldridge disappeared. They thought they could use it for a weapon in war, making the ship disappear. But the problem with it was it went back in time and then forward. When it came forward to the present, okay, Al Bierlich was one of the few people alive from it out of all the people that were on it. He started telling his story, and I hung out with him whenever I could and listened to what he said. Before his death, he said they offered him $4 million to go back in time to kill somebody because the time was already changed. The person I was working with UFOs at the time said, take me, I'll go back. I'll go back. And suddenly say, the Montauk Project became something totally twisted. They used what the Philadelphia created, and when it happened, when this ship went back through time, the wording was it put a rip in the dimensional porthole. And I'm going to be doing a show on that real soon with an exorcist person who's one of the top in the United States. I'm not going to say that yet. But what happened when that rip was created, the Philadelphia experiment was over, but the Montauk Project just begun. On Long Island, the tip of Long Island, they created a base. The giant satellite antenna still probably will be there. I'm not on Long Island anymore, so I can't tell you if it is or isn't. But they had this underground city, what they were doing. I'm not going to get into detail. It's a horrible story. If you want to get into it a little more, I'll suggest one book to read, Sands of Time, by Sean David Martin. An incredible book that links it all together in detail, if you really want to know that, and how bad it became, what went down and the whole thing, what it all had to do with aliens and stuff like that. But the Montauk Project, they were bringing children there. It was all about mind programming, analyzing, and trying to create this energy to create these futuristic robot zoids, which they did. Again, it's one of the most horrible things that happened to the planet because that vortex is still wide open. The government cannot seal it. The aliens don't want it to be sealed. The government wants it to be. And that's where we are right now. And the reason why I'm going to bring a guest on my show, because he's doing exorcisms daily, yearly. Because people are being absorbed by these entities that are coming through right now. And they're not the quote, oh, the demons and the old ones. They're newer entities from different dimensions and further distant realms. So it's a really scary point in time. Now, we've got the Pope talking about one world order. Who created the idea of that? What race, what alien race created the whole idea of killing? I can take you back, which Kerry, I was on with Kerry one time, and we talked about being in Atlantis, what was going on. She was in the end of it. I was in the beginning of it. It was the most beautiful place to be. It was the most beautiful place of the history of the human planet. What it looked like. There were 9 races there. and 5 of them left. And the blue race, purple race, crystal race, all left. I can go into that, but not right now. So the Philadelphia experiment is a serious problem. Mankind thinks he can change and become God. And what I'll throw on to that last thought, CERN is going to be turned on the 23rd. On the 23rd, they can create a lot of things. CERN is the most powerful magnet that exists in the world. It's more powerful than the magnetic field of planet Earth, really. If they directed it at the sun, who knows what could happen? What they're going to do with it, who knows what's going to happen? But it is dangerous. Please come out of the box. If you're not aware of what CERN is, look it up. See what it is and see what's going to happen if it does go on. What could happen? Even Stephen Hawking says it's the most dangerous toy that we're playing with. All right, somebody asked me about the colors of Atlantis. I was there. I became aware of most of my lifetimes, which every soul needs to do, whether you want to accept it or not. Every time you come reincarnated into this planet, onto this planet, you go through a learning. Why not remember that? Why forget it? Because that karma that you come into this world with has to be paid off. So the tribes of many colors back then, to me, were 9 races. We only have 4 of them left on this planet right now. Just to give you a scenario, Krishna was the blue race. Green Tara was of the green race. So they became gods or deities, the ones that stayed in the physical realm, or the lower realm, which I call it, the astral plane, and planet Earth, called, to me, I call it hell. All right, well, look, thank you, everybody. I hope you got something out of today. Tune in again next week. Thanks, Kerry Cassidy, for having the show, creating the show. Hopefully, we'll keep getting the truth out to the people that want to hear it. Much love and light to everybody, and thank you again. Talk to, and the ones that are blinking at me are a higher race that I do want to talk to. I'm not going to get into that now. I don't have the time why I feel that I need to and have to. But it is part of the reason why I'm here on planet Earth right now. And I know you hear that from many of the top speakers. Well, I'm here to bring this message out. What is the message? What I'm trying to do with that has nothing to do with the message that I'm trying to teach people, give people in my lectures. It has to do with what's going to happen to the planet, a different message. Because the message I teach is about soul. No matter what goes down, that's what you will be and always will be. But this light thing, I go outside right after the sun goes down, sit up there with 2 super spotlight flashlights, and I'm blinking at the stars and stuff, and I'm working with some light ships every night. If it's clear, the clouds come in very fast. I could be up there, and the clouds will come in like a circle directly over my head. And then, obviously, all I see is a cloudy sky. But what's been going on for 3 months already is I play with this flashlight, and I'll see these balls of light blink back at me in the sky. In the interim, while I'm seeing that happen, I'm seeing ships going across the sky. I personally feel the ones going across the sky are definitely the ones I don't want to power over them. It's like saying, who has full power over an angel or a deity? Nobody. So when people are given the right to use a Stargate, what about an alien race that's using it? So there's multiple things happening. And it's escalating at an incredible rate right now. Never mind with all the things that are supposed to happen. Well, while this is going on, I'm in Hawaii. I got all my computers. I sit out in this truck. I put a chair on top of the roof, and I put up a crystal with a light under it, which I have under control that can blink it on and off whenever I want. And I so you know, he was abducted again recently, last week. Had to kill a gray. Yes, he had to kill a gray. He's probably one of the only people on this planet that can actually say he killed a gray, and he had proof of it. He had the blood tested, analyzed years ago, because the first gray he had to kill. So is the story real? It's going to be as real as it can get. Are we going to have evidence? I have to go out there and get all the evidence together. And the most important thing that I feel is much more important than the evidence is why the Greys and the Army want him. What does he have that's important? I can go into that, which means at some future date, but not at the present, because it entails what we call the Stargate. And when I worked up in Wanakee, New Jersey, we called it the Vortex. And now there's a lot of different things going on, groups of people trying to prove vortexes and stargates and things like that. They're real. But who can use them? Who can control them? Would the government have full